A lightsaber was more than a weapon. It was a symbol of the Jedi Order, and the very tool they used in order to bring peace to the galaxy. Whenever a ravaging group of marauders like the first Mandalorian Crusaders or Nagasato's Sith threatened to destroy the Republic, the Jedi relied on their blades to fight back against the wave of evil. But there was one weapon so cunning that if it were used correctly could stop a lightsaber dead in its tracks. What was it? And how did the anti-Jedi armies put it to use? Join us as we answer these questions and more in today's Underrated Moments. The Jedi were no stranger to unique weapons, designed to exploit the weaknesses of the Order's lightsabers. Many early dark side sects used Force-imbued blades, as the original Jedi of Tython had used, or even Sith swords, which were powerful weapons constructed through dark side alchemy. But these arms, at best, were only ever equal to the lightsaber in combat, and could never surpass it outright. During the Mandalorian Wars, many of the Mandalorian, the ultimate soldiers, smartly used flamethrowers in order to attack Jedi, but that too only worked in certain situations, and a quick force push was often enough to deflect the fire towards a Jedi's opponent. But there was one weapon that was not only powerful enough to endure a lightsaber strike, but able to disengage the kyber crystal within a lightsaber's hilt entirely, and leaving the Jedi completely vulnerable in the midst of battle. But the form of the weapon was the least interesting part of it. In fact, it was the material, a rare metal known as cortosis, that allowed the sword or shield it was eventually forged into to stop lightsabers dead in their tracks. Cortosis, for some inexplicable reason, shorted out kyber crystals, and only an extremely rare version of the gem, taken from the world of Mystere, was immune to its effects. Famously, cortosis was used in the arm shields of the ravenous reptilian horde known as the Yinchori. A little more than a decade before the first battle of Geonosis and the start of the Clone Wars, the Yinchori waged a war against Republic space and utilized cortosis shields as one of their primary weapons. When the Jedi decided to intervene, they immediately lost 2 of their order to the Yinchori, since they hadn't expected the reptilian savages to employ cortosis shields in battle. Considering how rare the material was and how the Yinchori had only recently achieved interstellar abilities, Jedi Master Mace Windu never even thought that they could have the type of advanced weaponry. Another time, after the fall of the Republic, Darth Vader pursued a cell of Jedi in the hopes of adding a few more deaths to his list. The Sith Lord, with the same arrogance that Master Windu had employed decades earlier, simply ignited his red lightsaber and charged into combat. But one of his opponents, a female Jedi Knight known as Potkin, wielded a cortosis sword and cunningly disarmed Vader with a single parry. Although the Jedi he faced were much weaker than he, Vader simply couldn't defeat the odds and nearly died in the exchange. If it weren't for the arrival of Imperial stormtroopers, he surely would have perished. The use of cortosis in battle, mainly as a surprise weapon, had devastating effects. Jedi used all of their senses during combat in order to achieve a sense of flow, as they used their lightsabers to parry melee weapons and deflect ranged blasters. But if their swords were suddenly turned off, they would be nothing more than sitting ducks.